Guys, it's your girl, Ashley Kirkwood with the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast, where we teach you how to start at the top of the speaking market instead of working your way up from the bottom. During this show, you will hear solo episodes from me, where I'll show you how I have landed and negotiated 5- and 6-figure speaking contracts and licensing deals. You'll also hear from our amazing guests who have grown enormous speaking businesses by utilizing sales and marketing principles that work. If you want to grow your speaking business, listen to this podcast, and then afterwards, head on over to ashleynicolekirkwood.shop and grab my book, Speak Your Way to Cash, How to Start at the Top of the Speaking Market instead of working your way up from the bottom. Ready to dive in? Let's go. Hey, y'all. What's up to the Speak Your Way to Cash family? It's Ashley Kirkwood back again with another podcast episode. But this time, guys, I am actually going to let you listen in to a live video that I recorded. Now, if you're listening to this live video on the podcast and you're like, oh, I want to join your next live, I want to ask you questions, I want to be able to get feedback about my business, then you have to follow me on Instagram at the Ashley Nicole Show, and make sure you're following the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook page. All right. Make sure you're following the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook page because that's where I go live. I also sometimes go live in the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group, but enough about that. Even though you may have missed it live, you're about to hear it again. So listen into this live episode and let me know what you think. You can always send me an email to ashley@speakyourwaytocash.com. Let's listen in. All right, we're back live. So everyone can just rejoin. rejoin. So I was showing you guys our beautiful journals, which we have here. They're going to be in our box, our Speak Your Way to Cash boxes. We added a ribbon this year so that you'd be able to see all the wonderful things. And within this journal, we have quotes that will keep you motivated all year long while you're pitching. So we're waiting on everyone to come back because today, during this live, myself, Ashley Nicole Kirkwood, founder of Speak Your Way to Cash, founder of Mobile General Counsel, we're going to be talking about pricing and positioning. Because I wanted to do a session for you all who are looking to negotiate with corporations and you want something that you can hang on to and start to implement even before Speak Your Way to Cash Live in November. So if that's you, stay tuned. So number one, there are 2 things that will tell me how well your service-based business is doing. Okay? 2 things that are going to tell me how well your service-based business is doing. Pricing is number 1. Positioning is number 2. And we're going to go through each of those and kind of talk about, we're back. We're going to go through each of those and talk about how you can leverage pricing and positioning to grow your service-based business. How you can leverage pricing and positioning to grow your service-based business. So number 1, pricing. Based upon your price in the marketplace. If you do, first off, let me dispel a myth. There is a myth that I see floating around the internet that there is no competition, that I am my own competition, that competition is this dirty word and we want to run away from competition. We should instead have collaboration. This is the myth. It is a myth that there is no competition. There is competition. It is also a myth that competition and collaboration cannot coexist. That's a myth too. When I say the word competition, I mean it in its truest form. There are going to be people out there in the world that do what you do. As innovative as you are, it is very likely that your business sits within an industry. If that is the case, that means you have competition. It literally means that your consumer, your ideal audience, has options with who they work with. I have a law firm. I founded a law firm. There are a lot of different law firms in the industry. I'm in the legal industry for that business. People can choose to work with a variety of different law firms. Yes, it is true that our firm is unique and individualistic in the way that we approach client experience, in the way that we approach negotiations. No one is negotiating on behalf of small businesses in the way that we do. It is proprietary to our firm. I believe we are one of the best at it, if not the best at it. That is all true. All that said, we have competition. You know what I mean? And the beautiful thing about competition is it validates your industry. It validates what you're doing. Thank God for competition. It means that there are enough people in the world who find value in the service that a variety of us can do very well in that market. Nothing wrong with competition. I had to say that because I'm seeing a lot of stuff out here about competition and there is no competition. There is, and thank God for it, okay? So there is competition. Now, how do you differentiate yourself to the outside world? Well, to a consumer, there are a couple of different ways that I differentiate people in the same industry. I look at their pricing. I look at their positioning. Now, let's break those things down. There are some low-cost options. I'm picking on legal because I'm in the legal industry and the speaking industry. And in both of those industries, there are low-cost options. You can get a cheap lawyer. You can get cheap legal services. But what does that also say to me about the service? Well, typically, just based on what I know about other things that I buy that are cheap, it's normally not the best quality, right? So what pricing tells your consumer is typically pricing is used, whether rightful or wrongful, pricing is often used as an indicator of quality. That's the first thing. What else? Write in the comments when you see someone that has a very low price. What else does that tell you without saying anything? Like, what does a low price communicate to you? We have already talked about quality. What else does it communicate? It often communicates to me that I'm going to get less, or that what I'm getting isn't as valuable. Now, that could be a lie, but these are the things that I think about. Someone says, okay, great, untrustworthy. When it's low cost, maybe it's untrustworthy, because here's the thing. If it is so valuable, if it is so impactful, if it is so life-changing, why is it so cheap? Okay, another thing. I love these comments, you guys. You guys are, okay, someone else, Stacy says, inexperience. Low cost often signals inexperience, right? Like, it's cheap because they ain't been doing this long. Or they're not very good at this, or what are their qualifications? It signals that they're fearful. Low price may signal fear. Now, here's the thing, guys. I'm not saying that these things are always true about price, but what we're talking about now is when you see a low cost, just as a consumer, when we see low cost, these are some of the other things that we think about. And these are not just coming from me. You all have written some of these things. So inexperience, thank you so much. Someone says you look amazing. I appreciate that. Lack of confidence in your own product. They're fearful, untrustworthy, right? Now let's take these things to your speaking business. Let's take this to your business as a speaker, as a thought leader, as a consultant. When you are going to sell a corporate client, I've been calling them like these clients. Some of our clients are like Goliaths in their industry. They're big businesses, right? So when we go to sell to them, if we were to give them a low cost, if we were to give them a low price, isn't it possible that they would think some of the same things we think when we see a low cost? They're going to be thinking, oh my goodness, maybe they're inexperienced. Maybe the quality isn't as good. Maybe what they're offering isn't as valuable. Maybe they don't have confidence in their product. And here's the thing, leaders lead from the front, not the back. If I am to lead my client through an experience, through a transformation, that has to start at the outset when I begin negotiating with them. I need to be trustworthy from the very first time I speak to them. I need to show them that I'm the best in the market from the very first time I speak to them. It can't start after the negotiation. Like, I can't approach the negotiation of my services in a fearful manner, but then anticipate that they're going to listen to me and follow me when I'm trying to transform their organization. It starts right away. There have been times where I myself, as an attorney, have had to tell my clients, this is what we not going to do. This is what we not going to do. We not, like, literally, there have been times where the client wants to do something and I have to have the confidence, the courage, and the clarity to say, this course of action may feel good right now, but will not be good in 5 years from now. It won't be good next year. It won't be good for your business in a couple of months. And you don't want to hire a service provider that exhibits fear early in the process, because it's hard for you to trust whether or not they'll have the courage to tell you what you don't want to hear. And whenever you're hiring someone to do something transformative in your life, they need enough courage to tell you things you may not want to hear. Okay. And companies know this. And most of the speakers that I work with are going into these organizations and trying to convince them to change their culture, trying to convince them to change the way they've done business for the past 3-4 decades, if not hundreds of years, trying to convince them to motivate their students who they may or may not have had a good relationship with previously. And so all of that transformation that speakers do, that thought leaders do, that consultants do, requires courage. It simply requires courage. So the first thing you're going to have to be courageous about, or you're going to have to be courageous about, put on my Northwestern voice, is your price. Your price. That's the first thing you're going to have to be courageous about is your price. The next thing is going to be your positioning. Your positioning. And I want you to think about positioning like this. Where do you stand in the market? I want you to go with me on this visual. If we were to line up, like almost imagine every corporation in your industry was a person standing in a line, a straight line. Every corporation in your industry, from the smallest to the largest, is standing in a straight line. Where is your position in that line? Where is your position in that line now? And where do you want your position in that line to be in the future? Okay. So if we think about our industry as a line, where do I want to stand in that line? Do I want to stand next to the boutique law firms that are super, super expensive, but they're super specialized? Do I want to stand next to the law firms that are still trying to figure it out, but, you know, maybe one day they're going to get it? Do I want to stand next to the behemoths in my industry? Where do you stand in line? And then how do you move your position in line? Let's talk about that. What are some ways that you can cut the line, that you can skip the line, that you can get to the front of the line? Now, this requires you to do something that I find a lot of people are unwilling to do, especially now, because right now we're at a time where people don't like to be critiqued, don't like to be compared, and like to ignore competition. But let me tell you something. That's just fear. That's just fear. And so what I want you to do is not to think of competition as something that makes you feel small, but as something that can give you insight into your industry. All right. Now, we're in line. We're in line. All right. We're in line. Imagine a straight line. Everyone in your industry is standing in a line. And you want to learn, how do I skip the line? How do I get closer to the front of the line? How do I move my position in the line? Well, the first thing you can do, and darn it, I don't have my book. I have a physical copy of my book now. I was going to use it. But the first thing you can do to move your position in the line is going to be your branding. Your branding. So the way that you look to consumers, how do you show up? When you show up, and I don't mean your physical look as the CEO. I mean, how does your brand look? How does your website look? How easy is it to navigate? Do you have an Instagram profile? When they go to it, did you just post or have you not posted in a year? How does your stuff look? That is a way that you can skip the line. That's a way that you can skip the line, the way that your stuff looks, the actual branding of it. The next way you can skip the line is what you know, your knowledge, the way that you've been trained, your degrees and your credentials. But let me explain this. Let me come closer. When communicated, gaining a lot of experience, individuals, people who are watching this, folks, right? Gaining a lot of experience, getting additional degrees, getting additional training only works when that training is communicated to your audience. So if they don't know that you most recently got a certificate or you most recently took a course and learned a new skill, that you're revamping the way that your operations work, then they can't make a buying decision based on it. So where a lot of people that I've worked with get caught up is they're very well credentialed, very well degreed, very well qualified, have worked with amazing people, celebrities, some of the top companies in the world, but they're not consistently communicating that to the consumer. So when the consumer makes a buying decision, they don't have the information that they need to make it quickly and to pay your new rate. So your education is a way that you can skip the line. It's a way that you can advance your position in the industry only when it's communicated. Uncommunicated experience may help on the back end, but it does not help you advance your position in the marketplace. It does not help you advance your position in the marketplace. Let me say it again. Uncommunicated experience, uncommunicated education, awards that you don't communicate, press features that you don't tell anybody about, do not help to advance your position in the marketplace. So if you want to skip the line, you want to get to the front of the market, you want to be amongst the behemoths and the Goliaths in your industry, you have to start communicating the experiences that you have. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, just drop a yes in the comments, okay?
Quick question. Will you let me coach you for 3 days? Look, I know that it will be life-changing. I have seen it with my own eyes. So I want you to join me at Speak Your Way to Cash Live 2021, November 4th through the 6th. It's a hybrid event and it's our 6th one, okay? I'm not trying these strategies out on you all. I'll be teaching you what you need to land 5- and 6-figure corporate speaking contracts, grow your speaking business, sell to large and medium-sized corporations as well as colleges, and get the press that you need to start getting some of those inbound inquiries that everyone wants. We'll cover pitching. We'll cover press. We'll cover assembling your proposal and proposal writing. We'll make sure that we also cover how to deliver a rock-solid speech, develop your framework. And guess what, guys? If you've attended in the past, this year is 100% new content, same focus, all right? So I want you to join me there. And if you get a VIP ticket, you can meet me live. We will be live and in person in Chicago, Illinois. And so come on in. We have various safety protocols to keep everyone safe, but it's going to be one of the best investments you make in your life. And our reviews tell us that is a 100% truth. All right. So if you want to come, just go to speakyourwaytocash.com/event. Speakyourwaytocash.com/event, because I want to coach you for 3 days and help you to start speaking your way to cash. Talk to you soon, guys. Let's get back to this episode.
So we're talking about your positioning. Now, I already dispelled the myth that competition doesn't exist. It does. You have competition, my dear. Whether or not you want to address that or not, you have competition. What I really think is that a lot of people just did not compete growing up. There are some companies that love to hire people who have experience in contact sports. They love to hire people who are competitive. And I believe that that's for a couple of different reasons. One of them is if you are competitive by nature, if you've played sports, if you've won and lost at something, you now have an ability to understand that you can compete with someone and still be friends with them. So you may be better as a team player. And two, you understand that you can have the most intense desire to win and still operate with integrity. So personally, I wasn't a big sports girl. I did cheerleading. We did do some little competitions, but not like my shining moment, right? I did track for a little bit. Wasn't that fast. Couldn't really run. What else? What other sports did I do? I think those are the only 2 sports that I did. Outside of that, competed. Now, this is where I competed, and this won't shock none of y'all. I was a competitive speaker all through high school. So I traveled the world speaking competitively in high school. And that was where I compete. That was where I, did my competition thing. I loved it, did it all over. I also did debate. Someone said I knew the sports analogy was coming. I also did debate. So I would compete with my words. So for me, it's like, all right, I don't understand why people think competition is bad. I also in college did pageants. So I would do pageants and compete against other women in the Midwest region for pageants. So that's how I competed. I was Miss University of Illinois. Check my title, boo. So I did that. That was fun. That was a way that I competed. But I like competing. The other thing that I learned, though, was that I could compete with people in pageants, in sports, in debates. I could beat them and I could lose to them. And we could all still be friends in the end. We could all still wish the best for each other in the end. So for me, competition was never seen as a bad thing. It was seen as a good thing. And one of the things that I read recently was that calling someone your competitor is really an honor. You're essentially knighting them. Like, they are equal to me, thus I deem them my competitor. So you don't want to look at it as a bad thing, and you don't want to run from it, and you don't want to get caught up in like, oh, competition, oh my gosh, this is blah, 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 blah. Like, no. Competition is okay. It means your industry is well vetted. It means a lot of people want to buy into your industry, which is good. And you can use what your competitors have done, and you can look at the industry as a whole, and you can find out ways that you can stand out. It's a good thing. So that's how I view competition. So we're talking about when you think about your role in the marketplace, how do you differentiate yourself from your competition? 2 things, pricing and positioning. Earlier, we talked about what your price communicates to the consumer if it's low. And now I want to talk about what does your price communicate to the consumer when it's high? What does your price communicate to the consumer when it's high? Now, a lot of people, when they're looking at pricing and they see a price that makes them initially gasp a little bit like, oh my goodness, that's a little expensive. That's a little high. They want to look closer. They want to look closer at what you're selling. And they want to find out, okay, it's really high. They've been doing this a while. They must have a lot of clients. When I see someone with an extraordinarily high price, I look at it as a demand signal. Because when you're in a services business and you have limited resources, you need to price such that your plate is full, right? So your employees are busy, but also you aren't, you're not desperate for clients, right? We don't want to be desperate for clients. Oh my God, if they say no, then I can't, oh my God, like I need it so bad. You don't want to be at that point. If you're at that point, then you got to do what you have to do to eat. But if you're not at that point, then you want to be pricing for your future. You want to be pricing for your future. So when you see a high price, drop in the chat, what does that signal to you? And high is relative. High is relative. But when you see a price that is typically priced above other people in the same industry, what does that signal to you? Better quality and a standard of service. Okay, we got an analogy coming here. Me and my husband recently went on a 21-day road trip. We were out. We were gone for 21 days and we were going to be gone. We wanted to be gone for a month, but we were like, no, we can't be gone for a month because after 3 weeks, I was ready to come home. I was like, I got to come home. I got an event coming up. I got things to do. So I was ready to come home and we did a road trip. So let's talk about quality of service. On the road, our standards for service and our standards for travel aren't typical. We really like to travel well. That is one. If you read the Speak Your Way to Cash book, you're going to read about how I like a little bit about my standards for travel. I really like to travel well. So whatever city we're in, we needed to get a hotel quickly because let me tell y'all what happened. We were in Atlanta. No shade to Atlanta. Atlanta people, do not come for me when I say this, but we were in Atlanta. It's 10 o'clock at night. Our car is packed to the brim and we're going to our Airbnb that we booked in Atlanta. Now, I booked this Airbnb because the house pictures looked incredible. I had not seen the neighborhood or anything else. The house pictures looked incredible. 5-bedroom, marble floors, huge island in the kitchen. And I'm like, okay, I know this house is going to be the bomb. We show up to the house. Now, we're on our way to the house and it's looking kind of sketch. Okay, I'm going to just say that. So it's looking a little different, right? We're like, we don't really see any other houses that look like what we saw. Where are we, right? So we're driving through the city of Atlanta. It is 10 o'clock at night and I have a baby. And I am big on, if I don't feel comfortable, I don't care what, I'm not getting out of my car. I don't play that. I grew up in Flossmoor. I don't play that. Like I need to feel comfortable. I got a baby. Too much is going on in the world. So we're driving up and I'm looking at my husband like, this ain't gonna work. I already know. Because when you're looking at GPS, let me put the picture in your head. GPS says we're 1 minute away. Nothing I was seeing looked like I was 1 minute away from anywhere where I was going to be staying. So I'm looking around like, what is about to happen? We keep driving. We roll up to the house. The very outside of the house looks like what I saw in the pictures, but everything around it looked totally unrecognizable to me. I'm like, where am I? I'm not comfortable with this. We can't get out of the house. So now it's 10 o'clock at night. I got a baby in the back seat. Our daughter's 1 year old. GPS says we've arrived and I have not arrived. Okay. I have not arrived at where I'm gonna stay that night. So now I need to find a hotel. So the comment that we got was when you see a high price, you think better quality and standard of service. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't work. But once you've paid that rate and you don't get what you expect, because it was very expensive for 1 week at this house. Once you don't get what you expect, what do? You immediately are like, oh no, this is unacceptable because I paid a premium rate. So I expect a premium service. So now we're at this house. It's late. My baby's in the back and I'm just over it, y'all. We've been in a car. I'm thinking I'm gonna get somewhere. So I'm like, all right, we got two options, babe. We got to get a hotel. I'm either staying at the Ritz-Carlton or the Peninsula. Do they have either in this city? Because you can book me at the Ritz or you can book me at the Peninsula. Now, why did I say Ritz or Peninsula? Because no matter where I go, what city I go to, I can get a suite at the Ritz and I can get a suite at the Peninsula and I am not going to be upset and I'm going to know what I can expect. So when people buy from you at a higher price point, they're expecting that no matter what city, no matter what state, no matter what day, they can expect a certain caliber and quality of service. Here's the thing. We ended up leaving that house, going to the Ritz. I asked for a refund. Airbnb gave me a refund. I was like, this neighborhood, y'all need to tell people that this is not, they need to know. So we got our refund. We got our money back from the Airbnb and then we went to the Ritz. It was great. No issues there. It was exactly what we expected. We paid what we had to pay for booking last minute and we slept good and safe that night, right? But one thing that I'll say is that if you are a service provider and you're going to price above your market, you're going to price at a higher price point than the rest of your market, hey, then you need to make sure that the quality of service that you provide matches the price that you're going to charge. Because if you don't, and people pay a high price to work with you, and then the service level is low. You don't respond to their emails. You're rude and nasty. Yeah, the work product you give them isn't right. They have questions and you don't answer them. Then they will never work with you again. And they will tell other people not to work with you again. And it will ruin your reputation and ruin your credibility. So you want to make sure that if you're going to price above your market, I call it pricing outside your market, then you want to make sure that the quality is there. Now, here's what I'm going to just tell you guys the truth. If it don't apply to you, then it ain't for you. But if it applies to you, think about it in your prayer closet and fix it. Most people will not price at a premium because they do not want to live up to the expectations they know a premium will require. So instead, you price below your market and you complain about your people. You complain about the people that you're attracting and that you're serving because they're not paying you what you deserve to be paid, but you won't up-level your service to attract a different type of buyer. It may not apply, but if it applies, deal with it in your prayer closet. So you want to make sure that when you're pricing yourself and you're positioning yourself, one, you're overcoming all the fears, all the stuff in your head that's like, I can't serve at that level. No one's going to buy it at this level. Now, look, someone will buy at all price points. Whether or not the people you've been talking to will buy is a different story. That goes back to positioning. What is your brand story? Why are people hiring you? What do you bring to the table? Do you have a signature framework? Do you have something that you can say, I'm the only one in the world that can deliver this service this way? The way that we do our negotiations are so unique at Mobile General Counsel. You can go to someone else, they won't do it like us. Not because, they just won't, because we've spent time, energy, and effort into curating a process for getting our clients the absolute most out of every single negotiation. So yes, you can go somewhere else. It won't be the same. Same with speaking. We speak on our signature frameworks that we've developed and that we've trademarked and that we've protected. So yes, you can get another speaker. It won't be the same. So you want to have something in your business that you can point to and say, oh, no. When you come here, you get this level of service. When you come here, we negotiate like this. Let me explain to you our process, because it's so different and so unique. And I think you'll get a lot of value out of it because we created it with our consumers in mind. So those are some things that I want you all to think about: pricing and positioning. If you are in line, if everyone in your industry were to line up in a straight line from 1 to 1,000,000, right? Where are you standing in that line? And if you're not where you want to be in that line, how do you get to the next level? We talked about the way that your brand looks online and in person, the way that you show up, the way that you communicate. We talked about your actual positioning. How do you communicate what you do? Your education, the coaching, the certifications, the degrees that you have. That can help you skip the line when properly communicated. Because if it's something that you know, but your consumers don't know, they can't make a buying decision based on it. So I'm hoping this is helpful. And I'm telling you guys this because it is time. This is a time unlike any other time that I've been practicing law. This is a really unique time where individual people are able to make deals with humongous corporations, and negotiate them on their own or with counsel and get things done in a way that we haven't been able to do in the past. So I'm seeing deals with like individual brands are approaching the behemoths and the Goliaths in their industries and getting deals done with them that are favorable to the individual, that are favorable to the smaller business. Because the way that business has been done historically is not the way that it will be done in the future. So this is a great opportunity for us to get our prices right and for us to position appropriately. If you're watching this and you're like, this was interesting, got me thinking about new things, I'm ready to price and position appropriately, I want to price outside of the market, I want to deliver, then I would love to invite you to Speak Your Way to Cash Live, where I will be showing speakers over the course of 3 days how we utilize our proprietary paid method to make sure that our speakers, thought leaders, and experts price outside the market. So our paid methodology is our trademarked methodology for teaching you how to price and position appropriately for large corporate opportunities. All right. If that's what you want, you can go to speakyourwaytocash.com/event. I will see you there. We got in these beautiful journals today. I'm so excited about them. They are literally incredible. Like, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at this. Okay. Like, this is next level. We have different quotes on a variety of the pages. We've redesigned them. If you register early, this is one of the box that we have is one of our expiring bonuses. We had 3 expiring bonuses. One was the pre-event prospecting party. It happens mid-September. Second is our boxes. You have to register before September to get those boxes. The 3rd expiring bonus that we have is a private pre-event Q&A, which is where I will be answering your questions in a private setting with people who registered for the event, and we can chit chat even before the event happens to make sure you're positioning yourself for ultimate profit, because that's what I want you to do. And, a lot of people that I attracted who are going to be attending this event are women and people of color. It is about time that we are able to negotiate and get paid what we're worth. This country literally, I don't want to go too far off the deep end, but this country literally has benefited tremendously from free labor on the backs of people that look like me. So now I never feel bad about going into large corporations and being paid appropriately, ever. You can't get me to shed a tear for getting a check from large corporations, a lot of whom have benefited from our country's history of underpayment and free labor. So I particularly have a burden for helping us go back into corporate, but not as employees, but as vendors, as contractors, as folks who hold the contract, as folks who can staff the contract with others, because it's really important that we're able to do that if we ever want to move the needle forward. So hopefully this was helpful. If it was, tag someone. I know we had a little bit of a tech glitch in the beginning, but we got ourselves together and we were able to give you all this info. I want to see you at Speak Your Way to Cash Live. Over the next month or so, the next 11 weeks before the event, I'm going to be going live more, sharing more information with you guys about how you can move your business and your careers forward. And then I want to see you at the event. Our book, Speak Your Way to Cash, How to Start at the Top of the Speaking Market Instead of Working Your Way Up from the Bottom, will be launching November 15th. Every attendee of the event who registers in time gets an advanced copy of the Speak Your Way to Cash book. Okay, and I have put so much sweat equity into making sure this book is an incredible product. And just the other resources that you all will get. We have over $600 worth of bonuses from our sponsors, Uncloned Marketing, Smith AI, Dipsato. They're all giving you guys either discount codes or products in our boxes that you can utilize to grow your business and make sure that you're positioned as a business that can charge at the top of the market. So it's going to be an incredible experience. We have a Dreamer's Den where I'm going to be walking you all through an experiential session. I'm going to say that word wrong. An experiential session where I'll be teaching you really how to visualize and how to dream so that you actually can get impact in your life. We have another session called the Language Lab where I'll be giving you guys just literally a workbook filled with scripts, where I'll be giving you guys a workbook filled with scripts that you can utilize when negotiating. And you'll be keeping that. It's in your workbook. So the information that you'll get, how to write a 6-figure proposal, how to position yourself in the press, how to utilize and leverage that press feature for additional profit, the sales masteries, story selling, which is our workshop on telling your story and presenting and speaking and what you need to make sure your audience is visualizing when storytelling. It's 3 days of actionable content that will change your life for the better forever. All right. So I want to see you there. Go to speakyourwaytocash.com/event. As of right now, you can still do a payment plan if you want to do that to secure your ticket. That will be a good thing to do so you can start taking advantage of some of these bonuses. But yeah, that's all I got. Okay. So go to speakyourwaytocash.com/event. Make sure you get your ticket. Make sure you get your ticket to this event as soon as possible so that you can really take advantage of some of these offers that we're talking about. And if you're getting your ticket, then let me know. Just drop a yes in the comments that I can congratulate you and welcome you on into the fold. But I will see you guys there. Share this out with someone that can get value in it, and I'll be back.
All right, wasn't that interview amazing? If you're anything like me, you have pages full of notes. But here's the thing. Before you head out, I want you to go to facebook.com and join the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group. That is where I am. That's where a ton of other speakers are, a ton of other people who listen to the show. We all congregate there and chat. And it's 100% free. Now, if you're ready to take your speaking career to the next level, I have 2 ways for you to do that. One, you can go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com/SYWTC live replay and pick up the live replay. That training is 7 modules, chock full of information. It's crazy. Go over there, read all about it. Or if you want a more personal experience, you're already You already know that you want to be a speaker. You're ready to fully commit and you want someone to walk you through it and save you tons of time Googling and doing it on your own. Then book a VIP day with me. You can go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com, scroll down until you see the VIP day section and get more information on that there. All right. Thank you guys again for watching. Please do not forget to leave us a review. That is how we keep this train rolling and get some of the best speakers in the world to get on this show. So please, please, please leave a review. Shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram, and Facebook in the Speaker Way to Cash group, Instagram at The Ashley Nicole Show. And I'd be more than happy to chat with you and say hi. All right, y'all have an awesome, awesome day.